What's up, guys? Welcome back to the right side. Today, I want to talk about shaming and why a healthy and functioning society needs it. Much of the conversations we have in politics revolve around the legal aspect of everyday life, whether it is illegal or illegal for anyone to do anything. These are very important conversations to have, as those discussions will lead to whether or not police knock on your door to put you in jail. But not every part of human behavior is built the same. We all recognize that there are things people do that we all agree shouldn't happen, but it might just be a step too far to criminalize. I'm not sure if this is a newsflash to many people, but there's more that goes into what keeps a society healthy and functioning than tax policy or foreign affairs. In fact, the ground level interpersonal interactions that we have with people heavily impact the health of our society. The doctrine of the live and let live doesn't work. Man is not an island to himself. We all contribute to society. So therefore, it heavily matters what each person is thus contributing to society. I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but some behaviors contribute to a degenerating or decaying society that has long been heavily stigmatized or shamed in the past, and for good reason. What many people consider to have been too much or too great a level of shaming in the past has seen a heavy and destructive pendulum swing in the opposite direction. Feminism and the sexual revolution pushed with all their might against the stigma surrounding promiscuity, fundamentally unwinding the dynamics of sexual relations, going from a world where men were forced to be better in order to earn the woman's hand in marriage to a world where women and girls are conditioned and have their mindsets manufactured to think that they operate mentally and emotionally the exact same way men do. Men and women are not the same. We don't interact with or react to things the same way. Our brains do not operate the same way, just as our brains do not give us the same rewards for the same actions as each other. So therefore, our behaviors, while the recognition should be of equal immorality, the standards to which we hold each other are different. This concept stretches outside of promiscuity into a concept that I call the social law, or shaming. In many ways, I feel the social law, in terms of its importance to society, is oftentimes just as, if not more, important as legal law. Where a legal law sets a cap on what free behavior we tolerate before we take it out of society and put behind bars, these social laws aim to regulate human behavior at a sub-state level, what some might, for example, call a bro code or a sisterhood, for example. The unspoken, unwritten rules of human behavior are keeping and holding each other accountable. This social dance, so to speak, is beyond vital to the functioning of a human society. The problem is that we're losing this social law, and it will rip us apart from within. The very idea of shaming is that I notice you acting out of the bounds of the unwritten rules of society, holding you to account. But what that does is that in the act of applying society's rubric to you, I am, therefore, opening myself up to the exact same treatment. When one girl shames the other for being promiscuous, the microscope is trained back on her. This is what other people would call iron sharpening iron. However, when certain behaviors are destigmatized and degenerate behaviors are normalized, we all retain a certain level of guilt or disgust with an action, personally or internally, but we avoid having the outside society turn us away from it. We want to stay within our bubble of rationalized degeneracy because it makes us feel better. So what do? Well, we see other people doing other bad things, other degenerate actions, other things that we internally know subconsciously are negative to the functioning of society. But we choose not to point out their actions as such because we know that we are just as guilty as they are. Instead of confronting that self-accountability as we used to and what made us stronger, we say, you know what, I know it isn't good, but it's my life, and I'll have to deal with it. So therefore, I'll live my life, and you live your life. These societal breakdowns warrant state involvement to cease certain behaviors for the sake of society, because like it or not, the human condition is predisposed to degenerate behavior. It's normal to want what we shouldn't have, and these exact aspects of human nature give birth to the necessity of social regulation. There are many forms of degeneracy that the vast majority of us would say we wouldn't want to be criminalized, that it would be great overreach on the part of the state. But these forms of degeneracy have just as much of an impact on the future of our country as tax policy or education. The acceptance of promiscuity and the destruction of gender roles collapse birth rates, albeit slowly, but are just as destructive to a population as any war could be. It's the destruction of the family that rots a country from the inside out. It's the perversion of the sacred and the beautiful that warps our base desires to far more wicked things. The shaming of shaming has allowed us to see a great historical revelation for our generation or our lifetimes. That the slippery slope fallacy isn't a fallacy, but instead a true warning. Shaming keeps degenerate and destructive social behaviors outside of the realm of normalization, where once normalized, it extends the border of what is socially taboo to the next level of what was normalized. This process of normalization and expanded boundaries of what is considered to be the taboo is the exact slippery slope fallacy that many defend. If there's anything that we've learned in the past 50 to 60 years, is that the slippery slope is not a fallacy, but instead a historical pattern. History is cyclical, and the reality is that generations are unreceptive to or not taught the lessons of a past generation, and therefore repeat them at their own peril. We would all be served better if we all served each other better. The golden rule has been twisted and perverted to justify our own selfish habits and desires. It doesn't have to be this way. The path of doing anything worth doing isn't easy, and rebuilding this society so wrought with degeneracy and perversion won't be easy on your neighbor or you. The regulation of social behaviors requires all of us to look at ourselves in the mirror and hold ourselves to task. Don't expect someone else to be better than you. We all must independently and individually lead by example, so a rising tide can lift all boats. And so, in the end, the question remains, will we continue down this path of moral erosion, pretending that our choices don't ripple through society, or will we take the harder road of self-accountability and collective action? History warns us of the consequences of complacency, and we are living in a moment that demands clarity and courage. It's not just about the laws we pass or the leaders we elect. It's about the standards we uphold, the values we live by, and examples we set. Change doesn't start in the halls of Congress or on the campaign trail. It starts in our homes, in our communities, and the quiet decisions we make every day. The future of our society isn't written in the stars. It's carved out by your hands. We need to reject the comfort of rationalized decay and choose instead to be the iron that sharpens iron. We need to reclaim the strength, the discipline, and the shared responsibility that once defined us. The road ahead will be hard, but the alternative is far worse. It's time to stop waiting for someone else to step up. The work begins with you. Begins with me. It begins with a generation willing to rebuild what has been broken. Not for applause or recognition, but because the survival of our society depends on it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you'd like to support and help the channel grow, become a member, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're updated with all my uploads. Finally, whether you agree or disagree, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I look forward to engaging with you guys in respectful and thoughtful discussions. With that said, I'll see you guys next video. See ya.